It's your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso here on SABC3. And during the national outcry and protest movements to address and end violence against women and children in South Africa, one of the key focuses has been on dissecting aspects of masculine culture and striving to make men understand the implications of these in society. Men have been called to engage and act during this important moment. So today we're asking, how can men help each other be better to help create a safer society for all?
And this is the conversation that men need to be having, not women.
Yeah.
This is what men need to be speaking about with other men right now. And this morning, in that effort, we are joined by published author, podcaster, relationship coach, Hakeem Anderson-Lesolang, to help us discuss this, I want to say important, but it's a vital, critical topic right now. And we'd love to post some of your questions as well to him. If you've got any comments or questions, please do that on our Facebook page, and we'll try to engage with you as much as possible. I'm going to shake your hand for about the fourth time.
Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you.
And show you the respect that you deserve, because choosing to put yourself out at this time is kind of the cue that all men need to take now.
Yeah, it's kind of a tricky time to...
You know, I'm lost. I've always felt that I'm a good man. I judge myself pretty harshly as well. I think, like a lot of South African men, we know that we've got a lot that we need to process.
Yeah.
But I've been struggling for answers. I've really been struggling for answers over the last few weeks. It's not like anything massively new has changed. This is the country we've been in for a while.
For a long while.
But where does the conversation need to begin? What do we as men need to be asking ourselves?
With the boys. The conversations, you know we talk about sports and we talk about going out, we talk about work, we talk about normal things, right? This has to be a normal conversation. It has to be a normal conversation. We can't risk going another day without sending that WhatsApp to one of my boys. We're all good. We consider ourselves to be good men, right? That's done. That's out the window now. Like we know good men are abusive now. Yeah. Good men are silent, and because good men are silent, I don't know you. I know you, but I don't know you from a bar soap. In your private spaces, I don't know what you're doing. And I can't go a day without sending you, hey man, what do you understand about what's consent? Yeah. What's like define rape for me? Yeah. What's rape? What if like send out an example. Say I'm in a situation like this and I'm with my partner, I'm with this lady that I just met, and I act a certain way. What do you think about it?
Do you think this is appropriate?
Do you think this is appropriate? Do you think this is appropriate behavior?
I just got checked on this because da-da-da.
Yeah, we can't afford to not have these conversations as guys. We can't afford not to have these conversations in our personal spaces. You know what I mean? Like it's time now more than anything to really be active, and we gravitate around alphas as men, or we the alphas. But if an alpha isn't clued up about what rape is, or what gender-based violence is, or what gender equity is, you're following a person who's going to lead you astray, because you're going to take everything he's saying as fact, and you're going to enact it in your spaces. So we can't, like, we're saying we lost for answers. Maybe we're not having the right conversations with our boys. Yeah.
Well, talking about conversations, though, let's just say, growing up, we have older brothers, we have dads, we see how they interact with the world.
Boys.
And you think about how masculinity in its very primitive, and I'm going to call it a primitive form, is that you don't ask questions, because that seems weak. You just go on doing your own thing until somebody questions it, then you defend yourself, because that's essentially the modern understanding of masculinity. It's like, hey, don't ask me, don't question me. I talk to my wife the way I talk to her, you don't tell me anything. And it's those things that we need to unlearn as men. But how do we go about breaking that particular cycle? How do I say to Graham, don't speak to your lady like that, without thinking, you know what, I've just made things awkward between us?
I think you have to be the weirdo in the room, man. In this climate, you have to be the weirdo in the room. You have to be the louder one in the room, but the louder one speaking facts, the louder one telling the truth, the louder one voicing out what's wrong with how that man is behaving. Ideally first, because we know that as men we're very defensive in our approach. You know what I mean? Because we want to protect our ego and we want to protect our manhood. Pull him to the side. Just pull him to the side before you even, because it's going to look like an attack. Just pull him to the side and say, bro, listen, whatever it is you're doing, how you behaving, how you talking to people, how you going about things, how you making your woman feel unsafe, making women feel unsafe.
And if he's a bro, you can do that.
You can, as a bro,
you can
as a
do
bro,
that.
and as a stranger.
Yeah.
As a stranger, because sometimes if I'm your bro, I don't necessarily listen to you because I know your weaknesses as well. And the bro code says, if I know your weaknesses, you know my weaknesses, I'm going to protect your weaknesses, and we're not going to talk about them.
Loyalty,
So as a stranger approaching a man you see acting out, then he's going to think the world actually sees me for the crap that I am. You know, the world actually sees me for the crap that I am, and maybe you've planted a seed in his mind, in his heart, to change.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So we can't stop being the weirdos in the room. We have to be. If you're a good man, be a weirdo.
Yeah, maybe now you just got to be single-minded and shut all the other clutter out and just do it.
Just
I want
be single-minded about effecting change. However, wherever you see wrong and where you don't see wrong.
Because we need to affect critical mass somewhere along the line, and if it doesn't start from men, it's not going to. We keep asking women to have your voice be heard and support other women.
But we don't listen to women, bro. We don't listen to women. How long? Do you know the one thing that it really pisses me off? Yeah, like, because the things that I'm saying, women have been saying for hundreds of years, man. Women have been saying these things for hundreds and hundreds of years. We don't listen to women. We don't. Men do not listen to women. I don't care what color skin you are. I don't care what position you hold. I don't care. You could be the lowliest. You could be the lowliest of low men in mannerisms and in character. You can be you will not listen to a woman, and that's problematic. That we do. Women have been saying this. Just now, we in this memorial service, bro. If that video of women crying for help, bro, didn't move you in any way to change. If it didn't move you, man, like we are messed up. We can't keep saying we're good men. We cannot, not in this era. There's femicide in this country. Women are dying in this country. Women are being kidnapped in this country. And we only go on social media if a woman is aesthetically pleasing and we cause noise. But what about the women that aren't aesthetically pleasing? What about the women in the rural areas? What about the women in the townships?
You have zero voice.
If you're a good man and you're not moved to change, bro, like, I swear to you, man, like, without women, we're nothing.
Yeah.
We're nothing. We come from women.
Well, without our mothers, without our sisters, without our daughters, we are lost. We're going to continue.
Without women that we work with, they're protecting us. Do you understand?
Completely. No, completely.
And it's important to use your voice as well. And as you can hear, the conversation will continue on our Facebook page as well. And talking about using your voice, a little bit later, the Cape Town Youth Choir is going to showcase just how valuable it is to use that amazing thing of yours, and that's your voice. It's your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso here on SABC3, and it's Monday. And today we're using our relationships chat as an opportunity to have a vital discussion. How men can help each other be better when it comes to addressing the recent outcry to end violence against women and children. We'd love to hear your questions as well as comments for our relationship coach and author Hakeem Anderson-Lesolang. So comment on our Facebook page and we'll engage with you directly as well. So it's been a very passionate conversation, and the thing is, we need to have passionate conversations. They are had too little when it comes to this type of narrative as well. And I mean, just to get back into it though, and I brought Leanne into this one because it's so important for us as men to have conversations in the presence of ladies too, so that this is all part of our narrative. We're all part of the same page. But you and I both know that in the the change rooms and the locker rooms and the way men interact with men, whether it be on WhatsApp or physically or at the sports field, that there's a toxic masculinity that is really rife in our community. What are some of the ways, in your opinion and in your findings, how men have fueled the fire that is violence against women and, of course, children?
I think the conversations or the definitions we give to women and how we look at them with disregard, with disdain, and when I'm talking to you, I want you to help me undress her almost, just by conversation. So we rob her of her dignity, we rob her of her humanity, we rob her of her worth and her value. In the names we call them, in how we define what we want to do with them. That's lust-driven, that's desire-driven, that's power-driven. In how we dissociate humanity from ourselves as men. We dissociate from our humanity as men, and we basically act like barbarians, just in speech alone, just in conversation alone. And me telling you means that I've seen a certain type of behavior that agrees with everything that I'm going to say, and you supporting it is going to make it okay for me to now go and approach a woman in any way that I want to approach her. And I can be as crass as I want to be, I can be as loud as I want to be, and no man that has heard the conversation is going to stop me, because it's about conquest and it's about power and it's about usurping that power. It's about establishing that power and dominance as an alpha, right? And the men that don't stand up against you and call that behavior out, and call just in conversation, because everything starts in conversation. It could be self-conversation where you're talking to yourself about what you are and what you want, or it could be a conversation with the boys. You know, it could be a conversation with women and you telling them exactly how you feel about women. And if no one raises a concern about what your behavior is and what the position you've taken and your outlook and your perspective is, then it makes it okay. That's why when I say, if you're a good man, be the weirdo that calls it out.
Yeah.
Right? Because we can't keep saying we're good men. If we're good men, and I'm saying this again, if we're good men and femicide is so rife and rape cases are on an every day, every hour basis, we're not good men. There are no good men.
Yeah.
You know? So if we're going to go on social media and say, not all men, bro, we enablers of the behavior. Our silence and our divorcing ourselves from our inactivity and our inaction is literally saying it's okay for boys to be boys, and in a toxic manner. You know what I mean? So maybe let's look at redefining masculinity. Maybe let's look at redefining what manhood is. Maybe let's look at taking away the negatives of the patriarchy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That gives us absolute power to make decisions that we're not going to be held accountable for.
Yeah.
Maybe let's start doing that in conversation.
And maybe also stopping that phrase, boys will be boys.
Yeah.
You know, saying, oh, he's a boy, it's okay. You know, he can do
He's
those
a man,
things.
so you
exactly.
know, like it's a man's world, and that's what the patriarchy is, right?
Yeah.
Absolute control and dominance of men in positions of power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where your position will never be challenged by a woman and can't be challenged by a woman because she's a woman.
Yeah.
And by saying that, you're saying a woman is of no value and of no intellect and of no emotional maturity to let me know or to help me grow as a man.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to know, where do we even begin? You know, this is something that has been coming on, like you said earlier, for hundreds and hundreds of years. It's almost in our very nervous system, in our psyche. It's how we think. Maybe we don't think so of our mothers and our sisters, but it's how we speak about women that we don't even know.
Yeah.
You know, the kind of disrespect and disregard that we have in the way that we see women's bodies. We see their intelligence, their intellectualism. And I'm so glad that men are a part of this conversation, because it's been something for the longest time where women have been saying, okay, well, if no one else will stand for us, then women for women. But men have to be a part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Have to be a part of the conversation, and that's why we're doing it.
More than that, sorry to speak above you. More than that, we've been having conversations, guys. It's time for action now.
Time for action.
You know what I mean? Like we all need to have a collective consciousness of activity to derail men that are just go on any woman's picture on social media alone, and you see how a man will say a derogatory statement, will make a derogatory statement about a woman, and every single man after that will either love, support him, or just jeer, or just send out LOLs and emojis. So be the weirdo that's calling it out. Be the weirdo that goes into his inbox and says, stop doing this. You know what I mean?
Be the weirdo until you're respected.
Dedicate time to making sure that men know there are other men that are looking at them. There are other men that are ostracizing them, and there are other men that will stop them in how they think and how they behave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Hakeem said, no more talking. It is now time for action. More on this after this.
So it's Monday, and as we do, we are using our relationship chat this morning as an opportunity to have a vital, critical discussion on how men can help other men, our bros, the guys in our circle, complete strangers, to address the recent outcry to end violence against women and children. We are one of the worst perpetrating countries in the world. So as we have heard from Hakeem, we are men who love to think of ourselves as the best of, but we are not. On average, we are the worst men in the world. Dan, we wanted you to weigh in on the conversation, and I know as a guy who is very positive, as someone who kind of works in a comedic space, but also tells the story of the human condition, this must have been something that you've been grappling with. How have you wrapped your head around the outcry and the outpouring that we've seen over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's been a tough time in the country. We all know that, but I think as men, first of all, it's awesome that we are finally having this open discussion, because I think our egos were in the way for quite a while, and it's important now that we call each other out. And you know what goes on in the WhatsApp groups, you know what goes on around the braai, we know the discussions that we have in our circles when we know ladies are around. So we have to have that integrity in all spaces, and be prepared to challenge our friends, be prepared to challenge strangers we just met, where we're having conversations that dehumanize women, that speak about them in derogatory terms, etc. So even if your bro sees you in a negative light because of that, he's failing, you know?
If he's your friend, you can. There is a way. If you guys are truly friends, and if not, then cheers.
You know what I say, Like I say, for the guys that are clued up and the guys that are more adept to receiving information and digesting it and understanding it, the next guy won't be as wired as you are. You know, or understand information as you do. So it's incumbent. It's like it's your responsibility to teach the next person.
Give them the tools.
You know what I mean? And equip them. Like if I'm going to be your friend and I'm not going to equip you, and we're only going to talk about things that take us back to our primitive nature, then that's not really a friendship. Then we're in our lives to break each other.
We're just
really
stuck in a cycle.
And I mean, you know, us having this conversation as well, remember that this is part of trying our best to be vocal about it, though. And we've mentioned, you know, just add some comments on our socials, and I just want to read a few of them, including Shantae here, who says that, I admire the way you speak about women. We need more men like you. And Shantae has 2 boys, and she's scared. But she said she told her husband, you know, all you can do is teach him the right way at that particular level. So this conversation has had this ripple effect. Also, Deborah saying, beautiful topic, pride men have too much pride. So proud men, that's what you meant, has too much pride. And they don't admit they're wrong. So they don't even speak up about this. And then Renetta says, teach your children, parents, it starts in the home, love one another. And it's the interactions in the home as well. The way the father speaks to the mother speaks to the father, and how that interaction goes, where that observed behavior becomes something they'll take into their school, into their workplace, and hopefully into their homes one day. And
understand also that you can teach your children in the household, but understand the social climate and what's happening outside of the household, so you can counter. So when they come home with this behavior, or they exhibit certain type of behavior that's foreign to how you teaching them how to behave and how to act as young boys and young men coming into the world, you need to be cognizant of what's happening outside. Do not ever be in denial.
The world will teach your son while you're not.
Exactly. The world will teach your son. His friends will teach him. His teachers will teach him the alphas that he sees in the world. Most of us as men in this room barely ever listen to our fathers. Our fathers were there, or they weren't. We never even listened to our fathers. So when we're saying the parenting will happen in the household. Yes, the boy will be raised in the household, but be aware of what's happening in the world. Do not be in denial of it, and teach him. Help him be an observer almost of other people's behavior, and teach every single thing that you're teaching him, and every single thing that you're equipping him with in terms of being a man. Teach him how to discern between right and wrong, right? And teach him to have the bravery enough to. If you look at masculinity, the true form of masculinity is about power. Teach him that you can be soft and be strong. Teach him that you can be supportive and be vulnerable. Teach him that the difference between vulnerability and weakness. You know what I mean? That, like, index words properly, give words definitions, give emotions definitions.
And the problem is you're going to teach yourself along the way. And I think
Yeah,
this is,
yeah. You know what I
we've
mean?
reached that point now where you've got to be. I know there's a nice to have, and we all want to. I love the fact that I'm going to be able to instill this in my boy.
Yeah.
But we have moved so far beyond waiting for another generation,
We
2,
can't
3 generations to instill it. We need to do it. Is it something that you feel that you can introduce into your work? Is this? It feels like we are only having this conversation now, and it's been around forever.
And you know what the scary thing is? It's just the idea of masculinity and the notion of being a man has always been associated with power and strength. So it's like really up to us now just to break that down completely. And like you were saying, the sensitivity part, just being on the ground and humanizing, putting women on the pedestal that they deserve and should be put on. Because if you look at it, the mothers, the women of the household, they've built, if we speak to every man, the crucial role that we play. But then as soon as we become adults, there's this flip. But in a comedic space, it's always interesting because a lot of people are saying now, your role as a comedian, how does it change? I think that we just need to be even more aware, because people listen and people laugh. So when people laugh,
get real about it,
when people laugh, they're condoning something. So if you're speaking of women in negative light, speaking them in derogatory spaces, in a comedic space, and they're laughing, you're condoning that behavior. So there's a fine line, and you have to be very mature in what you're saying, because
Just stick to ripping men off. That's
we just got to rip men off. That's the main thing, rip men off. And even your friends who say men aren't trash, you're just like, dude, come talk to me. Because a lot of my friends will be like, but we're not trash. I'm like, no, you don't understand.
You're like,
you're just shouting. You're being a man. You're being silly. You're just shouting. Let me explain. Look at the bigger picture.
Because you're not trash, it means you need to be doing something about
100%.
telling other people, showing other people.
But that's what I'm saying. Be able to be an observer of how other men behave, and then identify if their behavior is similar to your behavior. And if it's not similar to your behavior, then you have the right now to go into those spaces and say, yo, bro, listen, this is not how you treat women. Also, can I just say this, the wealthiest, healthiest countries and societies are the ones that have learned to protect their women and to preserve femininity without feeling like your masculinity is being attacked, or that you're being emasculated.
They've evolved.
They've evolved. Men have evolved in those countries and in those spaces and societies, have evolved to a point where they place their women before everything else, and anything that threatens their women is deaded. Almost.
Yeah, that's a real man. That's what chivalry truly is.
Yeah.
There is a reason why we celebrate these incredible human beings that have done these amazing things. Now let's be that, emulate that.
Yeah.
I wish we had a lot more time to talk.
I need us to have a lot more time to talk about.
Well, the bottom line is, it doesn't stop here. You can have this conversation right now with your boy, with your boys, with your brothers, with your family, with your father, with every man that you possibly can connect with. Use whatever leverage you have, whether it's friendship, whether it's love, whether it's anger, whatever needs to drive you, it has to drive you right now to have this conversation.
So, of course, what we do need to do is ensure that we thank Hakeem Anderson-Lesolang as well. Thank you very much for the conversation, as well as just giving us the pearls of wisdom that we need. And as we mentioned, it's so important for us to continue the conversation. And this is an important discussion. And I must just say, Hakeem Anderson-Lesolang, his current book, 200 Truths About Love, is exceptional, as well as the upcoming book on feeling, healing, dealing, loving, and returning, called Rosewater, which will be released on the 19th of October, are available from leading online and book retailers. So make sure you get your copies as well. As men like Hakeem do their bit to make sure that we change our society, and it does start with us.